Welcome back to What the Flick, everybody. Matt, Alonso, Benz, Kate Flannery. You know her best from The Office. She's in the new movie How to Get Girls. Kate, welcome. Kate knows how to come to What the Flick. She is fitting for her character in the movie, and let's be honest, fitting for Kate. She has brought me some whiskey.
Well, I'm a bar owner's daughter, Ben.
Yeah. So you grew up in where?
I like that you say brought you some whiskey, as if to say
we're not
getting
any.
No.
Sorry, I didn't.
Fine.
I'm sorry.
No,
I was
it's
unaware
fine.
that you would be
It's
here.
fine.
But Ben could have said brought us some whiskey.
I did, but I don't like to be dishonest with the audience.
This is true. I actually just brought it for you. I'm sorry. Emily, if you want to share it
He
with your
needs
wife.
it the most.
You grew up. That's true, right?
Yes, my dad owned a bar, Flannery's Tavern, that my grandfather started in 1933, and I guess we became Democrats because FDR made an honest man out of my grandfather.
Is that right?
You know what I'm saying? Yes, he was a rum runner, yes, from Ireland. So Flannery's Tavern was in existence for over 50 years, and my dad took it over in the 50s till 1998, and he owned the rooms above the bar. We did not live above the bar, but we were there on Sundays to clean, although I was one of the youngest, so I never really had to clean that much. My first men's room experience, I was having to sort of deal. Anyway, I mean, no, it sounds more dubious.
That's
than
neither
it
here nor
was.
there.
But the rooms above the bar were occupied by what some would call the forgotten man. So my dad would, and if they couldn't pay rent, my dad would let them work it off. So we always had a lot of alcoholics like putting up a shelf or cutting the grass and.
And that sort of influence of being surrounded by alcohol caused you to swear it off, right?
Every morning. Every morning until after breakfast.
And in fact,
during the week. Yes.
Our introduction to your character in How to Get Girls is you're offering a drink and having one yourself at 9:30 in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, day drinking it's an art. It's really an art. And
it's hard to say you've been drinking all day if you don't start in the morning.
Well, this is true. And also, I'm trying to have a career of mostly purely alcoholics.
So that was your Office character. How much did that character and that show change your career?
Oh, completely. I was still waiting tables in a restaurant in Beverly Hills. I kept my job through the first season of The Office. So it was
what was
huge.
the restaurant?
It was Kate Flannery, and I waited on a lot of older, aging stars such as Billy Wilder and Ann Miller and Dorothy
Mel Brooks
McGuire.
and Carl Reiner would go in there every Saturday.
Yes, I used to wait on the Reiners and the Brookses.
So they would cycle through you and then go to Ben, basically.
Pretty much. That was actually we have a
the circuit.
That's part of what connected us is that
absolutely,
sort of
absolutely,
our connection to classic
So I was the
Hollywood.
waitress to the older stars, and you were the reinventor. You're the reintroducer of the old stars.
All right, fair enough. And of course, Kate Flannery, where the one scene, unless they've had another since then.
Yes, the one scene. Yes.
But they did a whole movie after.
They did a whole movie after that, but the one scene up
The one
until
scene.
that point that De Niro and
Pacino did
shot
together. And actually, some of the customers would stop me, and this one older man said, "I have a bone to pick with my son. He says it was Al Pacino and De Niro. I say it's Richard Gere and Clark Gable." I'm like, anyway.
It's really the only answer to that is no. You're right. It is.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
You win, buddy. You win.
Yeah, tell your son he's a moron.
Crazy. Yes.
How to Get Girls.
Yes. I actually came upon this movie. I was a last-minute addition to the cast. It was literally shot right near my high school. I actually got to stay a mile from my high school at the Wayne Hotel, going to the diner that I used to go to. Like, I mean, it was fantastic. And also, these kids that wrote this movie, Zach Fox and Omir Durrani, they went to University of Pennsylvania, which I went to school in Philadelphia, and I did a ton of underage drinking at Penn. So I felt very honored that they,
You didn't go to Penn. You just
I just drank at Penn.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
So it's all full circle.
Yeah, I went to the University of Arts. We didn't have much going on. Yeah. That was where the real deal was. But I felt like these kids really, they literally went to a lecture by a producer, and they literally hit her up to produce their film, and she went for it.
Wow.
Which is like amazing.
A big-time producer, too.
Yeah, Nancy Glass. She does a ton of. I mean, she's not a big movie producer. She's a big TV producer, and she was actually on-air talent that I knew from local Philadelphia TV.
So what I thought interesting is I do a lot of Q&As, and then a lot you guys have done them too, and you know that whenever afterwards the crowd sort of descends on the person on the subject.
Yes.
And and you're always wondering, do I need to help this person out of here? Or
right.
They're usually adept enough to handle themselves, but sometimes it pays off to descend on them because that's literally what these guys did, and they got
just caused another 10 years of harassment of Q&A people.
Well, this is true, but you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, so you might as well. Because you're going to regret it if you have an idea and you think maybe there'll be a connection, and if they reject you, so what? So be it.
Now, sorry,
go ahead.
Yes.
Right, get used to that.
Well, I was going to say, what I think a lot of people don't know about Kate, if they haven't seen you perform live, is that you're an extraordinary singer.
Well, thank you. I like to think. No, actually, I don't like to think so. I'm actually uncomfortable with the idea, but I've been singing with Jane Lynch for the last almost 5 years, doing her live show, and we're actually about to descend on New York to do 10 shows at Cafe Carlisle at the Carlisle Hotel.
That's so great.
Yes, we open September 11th, the funniest night in New York.
Yeah,
Sorry.
totally.
But hopefully people will forgive us. Hopefully people will forgive us.
And what is that show? I've seen the Lampshade show. What is the?
This is basically us, like heightened, slightly heightened versions of ourselves, kind of. Doing kind of a Rat Packy show with this amazing jazz band, and I don't know. We did a Christmas album with these guys.
Are y'all doing the Christmas tour again?
Yeah, we're doing a huge Christmas tour. We're actually going to be on a tour bus. I hope there are no fistfights.
I hope you'll take this as a compliment.
Yes.
If you had been a classic movie star in the 1940s, who then, as Hollywood always did, who then aged out of stardom in the 50s and 60s, you would have embraced dinner theater with a vibrancy and gusto like nobody else. Yeah,
absolutely. And now I think that really what's only available is the senior cruise. I'm ready for the senior cruise. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Were you the high school girl in all the musicals?
I was. I wasn't the lead. I was usually the funny, the second.
You were Adu Annie and
and Joan and Dames at Sea. Yeah. But and rightly so. And being like crushed, like why wasn't I not understanding who I really
still
was?
in that scene, going off stage.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And it's better to just like make a mess and let someone else, another character, clean it up. Right?
Totally.
Roseanne, Murphy Brown, 2 of the television revivals. There are others coming. Are we having an Office revival?
I'm totally for it, but I have not been approached. So maybe they're replacing me with the younger redhead drunk. I don't know. But some say, is it too soon? But I feel like the fever for The Office has gotten so big. And actually, I've talked to other actors. I just saw Dave Koechner, who's also in How to Get Girls, by the way. Forget about it. He said he has now stopped more for The Office than anything else. There's a fever.
My 14-year-old is in the middle of binge watching it right now, and a bunch of his friends are, and I'm not quite sure where it came from, but it's something that these younger kids, like it's this group culture,
a phenomenon,
like they're all catching it now.
And they're acting like they've uncovered some archival thing that's been buried.
He starts saying lines to me. I'm like, yeah, kid, okay, welcome to the party.
We only stopped shooting 5 years ago, but that's okay. Yeah.
And obviously, it wasn't a super political show, but I imagine actually that the sort of political atmosphere that we're in now would sort of lend itself to great
absolutely,
nonsensical office conversations.
Absolutely, and an escape from the news of today.
All right, we got like a minute left.
Yes.
So sell us a little bit on.
I play Chris Kattan's wife. He's the oddest.
Ex-wife.
Then ex-wife. Yes, but first, yes.
All right,
first we're married. There's a
spoiler.
whole. Sorry, whoops. There goes my whole. Anyway, no. Such a fun cast, such a fun romp, and like I said, this is basically like the journey of hormones. This is like a young boy's journey through his hormones. I mean, and it's kind of a classic story where you grow up with someone and then they actually grow up to be hotter than you are. I mean, it's kind of like crazy, and you're trying to catch up, but there's really no catching up.
I wouldn't know what that's like. So
Zach Fox actually wrote and stars in this and co-directed with Amir, and these guys really they have their act together. I mean, I was really impressed with their work ethic and the way that they would do rewrites. It's a fun movie, I mean, don't go. I mean, don't bring your daughter if you're.
Kate Flannery, everybody. The movie is How to Get Girls.